let's talk about the young guns. So Noah Östlund and Isak Rosén have been so good for them. I mean, just to say the least, for two guys that were not on this opening night roster, I don't think. In Isak Rosén's case, I mean, this whole stretch has been so vindicating because, like, I wouldn't even consider myself a huge, like, truther. You know, I just wanted to see the guy get a shot in a spot where he was getting more than 9 minutes of ice time per night. And now they finally do that. And they don't just do that. They kind of give him the keys. They give him the keys to the wagon because he has been basically getting top 6 minutes. And he's on the first power play unit, like night in and night out. And it looks really, really good. You know, he looks like he belongs. You know, the numbers aren't like incredibly dominating. But it's hard to watch both of these players and not come away with, yeah, they shouldn't leave the lineup for the rest of this, like the rest of the season. They should not leave the lineup for the rest of the season. They should not be sent down for the rest unless it just, you know, turns on a dime and gets so unbearably bad. But you can't look at me and say that these players are, you know, worse than what Jordan Greenway or Peyton Krebs or even, I love the guy, but like Tyson Kozak on a night-to-night basis are giving you.
I agree completely. I mean, Rosén has 5 points in 7 games. Like, he's putting up the production too. Like, it's not even just he looks good out there. He is playing good. I mean, he had, didn't he have 2 goals the other night? Like, he's playing very good. I think especially for Östlund, this is impressive because obviously this is his second stint with us this year already. And his first stint was short and it wasn't anything too impressive. Like, I think we were all like, yeah, he was fine, but like, yeah, it's probably best for him to go back down. But since he's been back up, especially with Rosén on his wing, I mean, he's been great. I mean, the number of production isn't there yet. He has 3 points in 10 games, but it's the eye test is certainly showing. And especially with whoever's on that line. I mean, Quinn was on that line for a while, and he looked very good. I think they did switch it up last night. I forget exactly who they put on that line. But I agree completely. That's one of the things I've been thinking about this past week is when we get healthy, and that means Benson's back, that means Zucker, and I'll even throw Josh Norris in there eventually. What will they do with this lineup? Like, who's going to get sent down? Who's going to be the scratch? Because I don't think you can take those two out of the lineup no matter what. Like, they're just playing so good. Of course, that could change, you know, in a week or two. But with how they're playing right now, they are a great third line once you're healthy, and you just have to make decisions on other forwards. I mean, Jordan Greenway he's been awful. That fourth line's been solid, but like, you can move guys down there, like you could take guys off. Malenstein has just been like,
I think
fine.
one
Krebs
player
been
on that
fine.
line has been great, and it's like the guy you'd least expect.
Yeah, and probably the guy who would be most likely to get sent down other than 2 of the other young kids.
Right, like there's a real possibility when you get, I mean, even when you get Benson, like just the influx of Benson, Zucker, and like Danforth.
Yeah.
Is that going to be enough to push Östlund, Rosén, and Dunn, not just out of the lineup, but is that going to be enough to push them back to Rochester?
Yeah, I think it probably will, but it shouldn't. Like,
I feel like one or two of them are like guaranteed goners.
Probably.
Which makes your team worse. That makes your team worse.
Exactly. That's where I've been thinking. I'm like, they're going to do this because of NHL contracts, and they could send those guys down, but they shouldn't. It would make them worse. Like, make some decisions on these other guys. Waive someone. Like, it is what it is. If you really want to turn the season around, those two have been awesome. They've been your most consistent line since they've been up. The power play, actually, when they're actually set up, now, of course, they still can't get it set up, but since those two have more of Amerk's presence, of course it's better because anytime an Amerks player is brought up on a Seth Appert's power play, they look infinitely better because they're not under his influence yet. So they would be definitely worse off without those two. You have to make decisions on some of these other players instead of sending them down.
I mean, you bring up the power play. It's so refreshing to have, not just one, but two guys whose first instinct is to not just blindlessly shoot the puck at the net. I mean, if you genuinely think, let's go back 4 years, like post Eichel, how many guys have they had on the first unit whose first instinct was to not shoot the puck immediately? Like, you think about just going back, you got Thompson, Olofsson, Alex Tuch, Dylan Cousins, Jeff Skinner, JJ Peterka. There are like a handful of guys. I think of Casey Middlestat. I think of, recently Zach Benson and Josh Doan. Like, that's kind of it. Unless somebody's kind of slipping through my mind right now.
The only guy I would throw in there is Krebs, because we were kind of Krebs truthers about the power play.
That was,
but obviously
back then. Back then I was a big keep him on the first unit guy, and I think we're kind of past that point. He is just what he is at this point in his career. But that's another example. Other than that, and you can throw Josh Norris was a guy they were pegging to be on the first unit this year. Like, Tage Thompson's first instinct when he gets the puck on the power play, what do you think it is?
Shoot the puck.
Okay, even like Dylan Cousins, I think, was always, he was there to shoot even if he was passing the puck, he didn't really want to. We know what Jeff Skinner did. I think even Alex Tuch's a good passer. When he got the puck, was it his first instinct, really? Maybe just because he's the net front guy, but Jeff Skinner, same thing, was always going to rip the puck. And even Rasmus Dahlin, the quarterback of the power play, is a volume shooter. And Noah Östlund and Isak Rosén, I can count on, I might only need one hand to say the amount of times they have taken the puck immediately off of a pass and gone in for a shot. They're always looking for someone else.
Well, and Rosén has taken some one-timers too. So It's not like he's just sitting there with it. It's like, if he's going to shoot, it's because he's open and he's taking that shot.
Yeah, it's a dual threat situation. And I think the Thompson goal against Colorado is a perfect example. It's a pass that I don't think a lot of guys would be looking for. And Rosén, the easier option was to maybe shoot the puck there. And I think it was towards the end of the power play. And he opened up a lane on his own and found Thompson in his wheelhouse. I mean, it's that type of stuff. It's been so refreshing. These are two guys that have been, at the core of their play style. Like, yes, they are playmakers, but they've kind of been coached through that. I think, Rosén became more of a trigger man last year, but Noah Östlund through these past 2 years, and even going back to like the Ovechkin, he's a pass first guy. He's a guy that sets up the other players. And it hasn't totally resulted in the power play, outbreak you've been wanting to see, but I thought it looked pretty good against Detroit last night. Like, they had some good shifts. Like, it wasn't a complete abomination. They still went, I think, 0 for 4, and had multiple instances to actually win the game in regulation, and didn't. But it looks less of a mess when those guys are out there. Now you still got your normal issues, lack of familiarity, no set plays, but you've got two guys that aren't completely, just jamming the puck into the net whenever they can. And you had that with Benson and Doan, but Benson went out with injury, and Josh Doan was taken off the top unit.
Yeah, the eye test, I think, confirms that, at least when they're actually in the zone. And I don't think it's crazy to say, especially if Rosén stays on, he stays on the Sabres for extended period of time, like he's probably the best power play player we've had in a while. I mean, obviously Tage is great when he gets his one-timer, but other than that, like other than actually shooting the puck, like I don't think he's anything crazy. Like he's just kind of there for a shot. Like I've expressed my concerns of Dahlin as the quarterback. I just think Rosén is very good on the power play, and we knew that coming up this year. I mean, a lot of his points with the Amerks this year were on the power play, and that's obviously something we need. So I'm glad they put him back on that top unit because they did take him off for a game or two, and it's looked good. So I hope it starts to translate to some more goals and some success. But it's definitely good. I will say the only thing about having Östlund on the power play, he's very creative. Obviously, faceoffs are very important when it comes to like power plays and getting puck possession, especially when you're the Sabres and you can't break the puck into the zone on the power play. I just checked. I thought it was going to be a little better. Östlund is sitting at a 23% faceoff win rate. So that's the only thing against, because I was expecting it to maybe be 35, 40%. 23% is crazy.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he's young. Obviously he's not as strong as a lot of these other guys. So I understand the reason, but as being probably one of your best players, especially one of your better centers recently, that's definitely not something to it's something that needs to improve on at the very least. I'm actually trying to find like rankings of face-off percentages, because obviously I would put like a minimum face-off percentage, face-offs taken, but he's got to be like bottom of the league.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. Having trouble finding it on the AHL website what he was rocking down there. Doesn't look like they have it listed. But yeah, 20. In the 20s is pretty rough. But hard to really complain at all about Östlund and Rosén. And like, God, that would infuriate me so much if there's a game, like I genuinely don't think, like, why even send them down? And like, even Östlund, what does he have to gain in the AHL at this point? What? I mean, I was thinking about this today because we have this conversation every year, and I've fallen into this cycle myself where it's just like, youth is bad. Like, just having it is bad. I mean, how many times in the last few years have we said, hey, they need to come in, bring in some older talent, and raise the average age of the team, and by like game, like a game whatever, like someone else has come in and replaced their spot, or like a rookie has found their way into the lineup. You've got two examples this year. Last year, Yuri Kulik and Tyson Kozak both did the same by this point last year. The year before that, Zach Benson, people criticized that. Well, guess what? An 18-year-old came in and took on a middle six role and performed. And then the year before that was the influx of Quinn, Peterka, Krebs, and Power all at once. Like, this is like an every year thing with them. And, continually, like last year, you could have, while the season was falling apart, like maybe, just maybe, it wasn't the worst idea to have Noah Östlund on the roster instead of like Sam Lafferty. Or at the very least, Isak Rosén, who was already in like his D+4 season. Like, that's just the infuriating thing. Like, Östlund, you can at least say he's been on the development track that he was destined to be on. The one that was laid out for him from day one. Isak Rosén has been... Rosén could have done this for the last 3 years, counting this year. Him and Kulik made their NHL debuts in 2023. And like I said, I don't think Rosén averaged more than 9 minutes of ice time in the 7 or 8 games he got that season. It's kind of ridiculous that it's taken this long for this to happen. And for a team that has its budget questions, like, you could have had this. You could have known this last year, and instead you tied up, $4 million in Jordan Greenway, for example. An expense that probably wasn't worth it in the end. He definitely was not playing this bad last year. I actually quite liked him last year. But now we're to the point, like, I'm watching Brett Murray out there. That's what it feels like watching him right now. For anybody that knows me, I was not a fan of Brett Murray as an NHL player.
He's been very bad. I mean, he's one of the guys where I think if you were to make a decision or start, once we get healthy, who's going to be our 13, 14 forward, like, I honestly think Greenway's been our worst forward since he's been back. Like, I don't think you can make an argument for any of the fourth liners to not be in the lineup over him. So I agree. I mean, and Rosén, he was put up MVP numbers last year in the AHL.
Yeah.
Like, there is no reason for him to be down there, especially when the season was over with and they didn't call him up. Like, that was just, there's no excuse to do that. There is no reason. I mean, Östlund, like, last year, it was his first full year with the Amherst. So understand that. It was Rosén's third year, and he's putting up MVP numbers. And it's astounding. And now he's up here, and he's looking very good. Like, surprise, surprise. Like, I'm glad they're finally giving him a chance, and I'm glad he's playing good. Like, he definitely feels – I feel happy for him because he was one of the guys who's probably projected to just rot down there at the start of the season. And unfortunately, injuries happened, but he's certainly taken advantage of it, and I hope he runs away with it.
I think it's a lesson that, like, if this season does get ugly, like truly ugly, or at least let's say February comes around and they are waving the white flag, like Alex Tuch is dealt, and maybe other pieces, plural, are dealt, or I don't know, like another roster player. Like, this is your lesson that from the trade deadline, I think, till the end of the season, like, Consta should be on this roster. I think, like, he should be getting his first extended look in the lineup. And like, it goes to show, you don't, like, they don't need to wait 2 to 3 to 4 years for this. Zach Benson is an example of that. Tyson Kozak was an example of that. Rosén is genuinely doing nothing that he could not have done 2 or 3 years ago. And Östlund is doing this in his second year in North America.
Yeah, it's just fighting about what you have in these players. Like, no doubt some of these guys still have to develop. Like, Benson needs to add a scoring touch. But seeing him play these last 2 years, you could see why he's been in this lineup and what he can develop into. I mean, he's a point per game so far this season.
He was taking shifts on the fourth line for a period last year. Like, he was with Lafferty and I think it was Malenstein. Like,
yep. It's you bring these guys up, you find out what they have. Like, Rosén, he's playing great. Look, he's not going to be a top 6, solution, but he's looking to be a very good middle 6 player, a great complementary player. Like, our power play sucks. He's a very good power play player, and we've known that for years now. I mean, even when Kulich was back down there, Kulich and Rosén on the power play was like a given for Rosén to pass him the puck and for a one-time goal. Like, he's just a great complementary player. He reminds me of a more well-rounded, this Victor Olofsson, like a complementary piece. You're not going to want him to be one of your best players, but if he can go on the power play, get power play points, bring something else to his game, and maybe be a good second or third line player, like, that's all you can ask. Like, he's a good complementary player on this team, and we could have had that at the very least last year. Like, 2 years ago, I know what you're getting at, but definitely last year, there's probably no reason for him not to be up.
Yeah, and they kind of took their time with this process. I mean, Rosén didn't get called up till October 31st, and I know that
Yeah,
the timeline.
they called up quite a few guys before him.
Yeah,
I mean, Dunn, they've played Mason Gearston a bunch, who's still on this roster, by the way. They called up Östlund once. They called up Östlund a second time. Like
I mean, they sent him back down at one point.
Yep.
Östlund. And I'm trying to. He was sent back down on. What was it? Where is he? He was loaned back to Rochester on October 30th. And that was in the midst of their 3-game losing streak. He got sent down the day.
Probably Kozak came back, right?
Probably, but Benson went down. Benson went down that night, and they didn't call Östlund back up until they put Zucker on IR, like half a week later. Like, and then he came in. What? Hold on, let me check this. Yeah, Östlund came up on November 4th. That was the night he scored his first NHL goal.
Oh yeah, that was the line. That was the only good line that night. Those two.
Yep.
Their first game up.
I mean, just.
That's why these past few years, the conversation's obviously been this team's so young, they need to bring in some bats. It's never fazed me because half the time the younger players you're bringing up are just better.
Is it like genuinely? Is it half the time?
It's probably not. It's probably most of the time. Like, to be honest, that the young players are better overall. No doubt they'll make rookie mistakes. Okay, but that comes with it. The upside is worth more than those mistakes that are going to happen.
I mean, I'm trying to think of examples of, like, what are the oldest players that have thrived on the Sabres, like, after being acquired? You got Zucker last year. I guess Skinner towards the end. Aside from that, who else? Anybody they brought in? Was Eric Johnson better than,
No.
X amount?
He wasn't better than anybody down there. I actually cannot think of another one other than Zucker.
I mean, look what happened. I mean, genuinely, look at what happened last year with Sam Lafferty. Lindy Ruff identified like 20 games into the season, Tyson Kozak was better than him.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to your own development. Like, you trust your own development model.
And we have to include Josh Dunn in this conversation too, because
yeah, right. Like, this is not some scrub. This is not some guy they signed like this summer that they called upon, like Yurtsin. He's not even that old. I mean, you kind of. I mean, he's not young, but it's like this is a guy.
26.
He's been a part of Rochester for 2 seasons now, I believe.
Yeah, I'm checking.
Like, he's been with the team since.
2 seasons now.
Two seasons, and I think last year was like the big breakout, sort of.
29 points
under Leon.
Yeah, I mean, I even when they brought him up, I honestly did not expect much, but he's been about all you can ask of a fourth liner. Like, he's 1 point, he's 1 goal, but he just looks good out there, and that fourth line's actually been pretty decent, probably in main part because of him.
Yeah. I mean, there's just genuinely, does Jordan Greenway give you more than him right now? I don't know. Like, I guess he gives you penalty kill a little bit.
That's the only thing I could give Greenway right now.
I don't know. Ryan McLeod held Greenway off the ice last night, and he tied the game. So
good.
He's perfect in more ways than one, man. He just knows ball. He knows puck. He had an instinct. Lindy was about to throw Greenway over the boards. McLeod, it's like the opposite of Adam Mayer before the Ottawa brawl. He's like, no, I'm going. And he went and tied the game.
I will say, if there's 2 players in a specific situation where they should have free reign to do whatever they want and go out whenever they want, it's McLeod and Tuck on the penalty kill. Like, if they have a minute and a half shift and they have a 20-second break and they say they're good, put them back out there. Like, don't care. They could do whatever they want on the penalty kill.
They are very fun. So when we for me, it's like, especially like my mindset, obviously, as I've alluded to, is like I'm just thinking about the future. Like I know how this season's gonna end in my mind, and for me, it's like Hellenius should be up like the second half of the season to get him that first extended look, especially like if Tuck goes, and it depends on what they get back. But let's say they get somebody who is still developing in the AHL. Like your right wing replacement should be Consta Hellenius in my mind. And the rest of the season from that point onwards should be transitioning into the next era of the franchise. The next crop of youth finally getting their shot. Your Bensons, your Doans. Or you got your Benson, your Doan, your Östlund, your Rosén, your Hellenius, your I feel like I'm forgetting a name, but that entire crop, and just reaping the benefits because these players are good. You drafted players with high pedigrees. They've developed what prospect has had stunted development that they've selected in the first round? I don't think they've had one yet.
Ryan Johnson.
They didn't draft him though, so.
Well, I guess yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
he's like the last first round guy that.
Yeah.
Unless I'm forgetting someone. I mean, I guess Quinn a little bit, but.
I mean,
stuff.
I even think right now, bringing up Hellenius, like, what if Kozak, is injured? We've
well,
no
this
idea,
goes back this, and it goes back to. I didn't mean to cut you off, but if you want to win, if you believe this season still has legs to it, it just supports that idea even more. Because look at what you're getting from these guys. I know not everybody can get top 9 minutes, but at least give it a shot. Your next, if Kozak goes down and Benson, Zucker, if they're not ready yet, are you going to throw Geertsen in the lineup? Is that where we're still at?
Well, that is, once they have to make a decision, Geertsen should definitely be the first guy to go down. Then you could just healthy scratch someone else. But yeah, I mean, Kozak, we've know it. He could be completely fine. So maybe I'm speaking out of nothing. But I will say, I said this to Jonah maybe a few weeks ago. Is Kozak is kind of becoming someone who's going to be known as injury prone. He's been injured quite a bit. So I'm just saying, if we have another injury to our center spine, even if it's not Kozak, even if McLeod goes out a few games, even though I guess he's not playing center right now, but I feel like if you have one more injury to your center spine, even Krebs, I'll throw Krebs in there. Hellenius should probably be up. Give him a chance, see who could it do. He's got 12 points in 16 games right now with the Amerks. I'm surprised he wasn't the guy brought up instead of Östlund for this, Östlund's second time around, considering he didn't do much his first time around this year. Yeah. And this goes in, we're talking about this team right now and hopefully playing better. At least that's how I'm talking and how they've been very good. This conversation obviously goes along with what you want to, looking towards the future. Get to know what these guys are. And if
it's also a very
season,
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
If the whole season, Rosén tails off, then at least what you have. If this is just a few good weeks,
Well, and I said this when everybody, when everybody first went down, or at least because Norris went down, and I don't know. I think other players went down in quick succession. It's an easy way to buy goodwill from the fan base. It's just easy. It's easier to watch. It's easier to watch this team lose. That Utah became infinitely more stomachable because I got to watch Isak Rosén bury 2 goals. I got to watch him and Östlund combine for, I don't know, maybe their prettiest goal of the season. I mean, I guess up until Thompson's last night. But I get to watch that on a nightly basis. I get to see the flashes. It's fun. It's much more fun than to watch like I said, I love the guy, but it's better to watch that than Tyson Kozak and Jordan Greenway on your second line going up against Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Kozak, it's funny. We're throwing him into this. It's only because he's being put in an elevator role.
Well, yeah,
he's
but
a great fourth line center, but in the role he's in right now, I
you
agree
can fix
with you
that.
completely.
You can,
but he's
like, you can.
he's
It's
young too. That's the thing. Like, he was a rookie last year. Like, he's kind of like, if you want a fourth line center, like, he could be one of the young guys, but he should not be in an elevator role. Like, it is not gone good.
But you could, like, Constantinius maybe could. I don't think he's playing center for the Amherst, but he was drafted as one. Like, I'm just saying, for the hell of it, like, you could throw him there, and like a Greenway Kozak Doan line to just a Greenway Hellenius Doan line just becomes infinitely more interesting and much more fun to watch. I wouldn't want them to do that. I want them to switch around the lines. I mean, this team has 0 centers on the team, and they have got 2 on their top line for some reason. But it really makes
Constance's
just embrace.
center.
What's that?
Constance's playing center. At least last night he did. He centered
Okay, well, there you go.
Wahlberg
Yeah.
and Carson Mayer.
Yeah, there you go. I guess I was just thinking back to the preseason. They mostly had him on the wing. But, yeah, I mean, just, like, embrace the youth movement. If, like, these injuries do continue to persist, there's no reason. If my point of view, and, like, I'm thinking, like, I'm not thinking tank, but I'm thinking, retool. I'm thinking we're going to lose some games. Yeah, bring up the kids. Have them get that experience. And then even if you want to win, yeah, bring up the kids. Half the time, they're your better players.
Yep. And if your power play keeps on sucking, just bring up more Amex players because they automatically make the power play better. So, like, I'm half joking, but I'm half serious.
No, I mean, you're legitimately spot on. We joke about it, but it is truly incredible that you watch a power play of half.
I would say half even just new players, because even think about when Bowen Byram was on the power play right when he was traded over. Like, any new players who aren't under
think
effort
different
for an extended period of time, and think different, it looks good.
Yeah, it's man. Anyway, we've talked about the power play enough times, but yeah, embrace the youth movement. Just embrace it. Just full on. There's really no drawbacks to it, like, right now. And yeah, like, I would argue Constantinius is. I know he hasn't played an NHL game yet, but I would feel pretty confident saying I'm sure he can give you more than Jordan Greenway does. I'm sure he can give you more than, like I said, Tyson Kozak, more than he could give you in a top 6 role. It does nothing but buy you more goodwill.
I do feel like, I mean, it's obvious Const's the next guy up. Whenever it does happen, even if it doesn't happen sometime this year, it's obvious he's the next guy up, just because I feel like he was the guy who played the most in the preseason too. Like, it felt like they were really giving him a chance to maybe, like, take over a spot, or they just wanted to see what he had more. But it was one of the interesting storylines.
He played their first 5. I know it was at least their first 4 preseason games. He played every preseason game until they sent him down.
Yeah,
and he looked great, and I would probably say more than half of them.
Yeah, it's just, I think that probably means something. They wanted to see what they had in him, and they probably wanted to see if him or Östlund should be the first guy up when injuries do come, and they went with Östlund. But I think with how Hellenius looked in those games, like, I don't think he would look out of place, and he would definitely bring more skill to a middle 6 spot than, like you said, Tyson Kozak or obviously Jordan Greenway right now.
And it's much different. It's much more different for defense because it's a whole another beast of a position. But, now that Kesselring's out, and whether it's an injury or let's say Dahlin had to step away again, I know they built themselves a crop of left-handed defensemen to pluck from the AHL, but I wouldn't mind seeing what Nikita Novikov can do. I wouldn't mind seeing, your right defenseman depth is non-existent. It's, now that Kesselring is probably going to be out long term. Like, this is really going to show you I was looking at the numbers the other day. Jacob Bernard-Docker's like one of the Wings' better players in WAR. Like he's a positive WAR player. It's going to show you how bad of a decision that was because your right side depth is going to be tested. Most nights, you're probably just going to have 5 left-hand defensemen in the lineup, which is just not ideal. I wouldn't mind seeing. It was nice to see. Hey, can Metsä hang in an NHL role? The answer is, hey, probably not. I wouldn't mind seeing what Komarov can maybe do here. Give him just a quick little look, see what he can do. And yeah, like I said, getting Nikita Novikov a game, I don't think would hurt, or giving him a stint. Like I said, completely different beast of a position, and they're not exactly your most highly touted prospects compared to the crop of forwards, but and like it doesn't like Constantinius, I think, could win you games, and I don't think he himself would really lose you games. Komarov, Novikov, if they're not ready, we saw with Metsä. Metsä was kind of getting close to losing you games, just because every time the other, the opposing team was able to score, oftentimes you would see him out there.
Funny stat. I was just checking this. Coincidentally, he's actually tied for the team lead in plus minus, which obviously was pretty brutal, but he's a +3. And the only
Who's that? Is that a Novikov stat?
Metsä. No,
I was
Zach
going to
Metsä.
say Metsä.
With the
Novikov?
Sabres.
Oh, it's really?
No, I'm
on
saying,
the Sabres.
Yeah,
wow.
He's tied for the team lead in plus minus, which I agree. Metsä did not look good in, other than his first game.
Well,
it didn't
felt
look
that
good,
way.
But
I'm
I
not
was very
saying-
surprised by that.
I'm not saying every time you looked up. It felt like a few times. Like he got benched a few games. Ruff benched him.
Yeah,
It was in games they were chasing.
I was surprised when I
with the
saw
lead.
that.
Yeah,
And he's tied with Zach Benson, by the way. Of course.
King.
But we did already see our answer and who the next defenseman is going to be called up. Now, like you said, it's another left-handed defenseman, so maybe since Kesselring's a right-handed defenseman, that will change their mind. But Zach Jones was called up this week with Dahlin out. He didn't play any games because Bryson just played.
And he went back.
Yeah, now he's back. But it's probably going to be Zach Jones. I mean, it's funny. Like, Zach Jones is leading the Amerks in points right now. He's 13 points in 12 games. Rosén is still tied for second. Like, he was obviously playing great, but he has more points than Constantinius in 4 less games, Zach Jones. So he's probably going to be the next guy out.
Yeah.
But he's probably not going to play because they'll just play Bryson and Jacob Bryson.
Kind of like forgotten he's played
Kinda
these last few games.
Yeah. Kind of getting sick of watching that guy play.
I don't even know if it's like I'm getting sick. I just like forget he's out there, which is probably like a good thing.
Yeah.